Somewhere in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, between the tip of Florida, the island of Bermuda, and the coast of Puerto Rico, lies a stretch of sea that has swallowed ships whole, made aircraft vanish without a trace, and left behind no wreckage, no bodies, and no explanation. This is the Bermuda Triangle, a roughly 500,000 square mile region of ocean that has been the site of more unexplained disappearances than anywhere else on Earth. And what makes it truly terrifying is not just the number of incidents. It is the fact that in many cases, they happen in clear weather, in calm seas, with experienced crews, and still, nothing is ever found. The mystery begins long before modern aviation and GPS. Christopher Columbus himself, on his first voyage to the Americas in 1492, recorded strange events while sailing through this region. His compass began behaving erratically, pointing in directions that made no sense. His crew reported seeing a large ball of fire crash into the sea. And on another night, Columbus described a strange light glimmering in the distance, appearing and disappearing. Something that none of his sailors could explain. For Columbus, a man who had sailed across the open Atlantic without fear, this region unsettled him deeply. He wrote about it in his journal and moved on. But the ocean did not move on. It kept its secrets. And it kept collecting victims. For centuries, sailors whispered about this part of the ocean. They called it the Sea of Doom. They called it the Devil's Triangle. Ships that entered it sometimes returned safely. But others, many others, simply ceased to exist. No distress call, no debris field, no survivors. Just silence where a vessel used to be. And then, in the 20th century, the disappearances became impossible to ignore. On December 5, 1945, 5 United States Navy torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station in Florida on a routine training mission. The flight was known as Flight 19. There were 14 experienced airmen on board. The weather was clear. The planes were in perfect working condition. Everything should have been routine. It was not. Approximately 90 minutes into the flight, the flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, made a radio transmission that would become one of the most haunting messages in aviation history. He reported that his compasses were not working. He said he was not sure where he was. He said the ocean did not look as it should. Ground control tried to help him navigate back, but Taylor's transmissions became increasingly confused and desperate. He reported that everything looked wrong. That even when they flew west, they seemed to be going further out to sea. And then, one by one, the transmissions stopped. Flight 19 was gone. All 14 men vanished. And when a rescue aircraft was sent to find them, that plane disappeared too. 13 more men gone. In a single day, 27 men and 6 aircraft vanished in the Bermuda Triangle without a trace. The United States Navy launched one of the largest search operations in its history. They searched for days. They found nothing. Not a life raft. Not a piece of wreckage. Not a single body. The Navy's official conclusion was, and this is remarkable, cause unknown. The ocean had taken 27 men and given back nothing. Not even an answer. The disappearances did not stop with Flight 19. In 1948, a British passenger aircraft called the Star Tiger vanished while flying from the Azores to Bermuda. It was carrying 31 people. No wreckage was ever found. The investigation concluded with words that echo the Navy's report on Flight 19. What happened to the Star Tiger must forever remain unknown. 1 year later, in 1949, the Star Tiger's sister aircraft, the Star Ariel, disappeared on a flight from Bermuda to Jamaica. Once again, 20 people, no wreckage, no explanation, no answers. In 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a large American tanker carrying 39 crew members, vanished in the Gulf of Mexico near the triangle's boundary. No distress signal was ever received. The only things ever found were a few life jackets and some debris floating on the surface. No bodies. No ship. Nothing that could explain what happened to a vessel that large or the men who sailed on it. And in 1968, a United States Navy submarine, the USS Scorpion, sank in the Atlantic Ocean near the eastern boundary of the Bermuda Triangle. 99 men died. The Navy investigated for years. The official cause of the sinking has never been definitively established. There are theories, a faulty torpedo, a catastrophic mechanical failure, but no one truly knows what happened to the Scorpion or why it went down where it did. So what is going on in the Bermuda Triangle? Scientists, researchers, and investigators have proposed dozens of explanations over the decades. Some are rooted in hard science. Others push the boundaries of what we think we know about our world. and a few go somewhere else entirely. The first and most widely accepted scientific explanation involves methane hydrates. Beneath the floor of the ocean in the Bermuda Triangle region, there are enormous deposits of a substance called methane hydrate, frozen methane gas locked inside ice like crystals. When these deposits are disturbed by geological activity or changes in temperature and pressure, they can release massive eruptions of methane gas that rise to the surface of the water in giant bubbles. And here is where it gets terrifying. When methane gas erupts from the ocean floor in sufficient quantities, it reduces the density of the water dramatically. A ship floating on normal seawater is held up by buoyancy, but when the water is saturated with methane gas, the buoyancy disappears. A vessel, no matter how large, would simply sink straight down, instantly, with no warning, no time to send a distress call, and no debris left floating on the surface because the ship would go down so fast it would take everything with it. Australian scientists tested this theory and confirmed that methane eruptions of sufficient scale could indeed sink ships instantly. And the Bermuda Triangle sits directly over one of the largest methane hydrate deposits on Earth. But methane alone does not explain the disappearance of aircraft. Planes flying thousands of feet above the ocean would not be affected by gas rising from the seafloor. And yet aircraft disappear in the Bermuda Triangle with the same unsettling regularity as ships. For that, scientists point to a different phenomenon: rogue waves and extreme weather events. The Bermuda Triangle is located in a region where three major ocean currents meet: the Gulf Stream, the North Atlantic Current, and the Antilles Current. When these currents interact under certain atmospheric conditions, they can generate massive, unpredictable waves that rise without warning. Waves that can reach 100 feet in height and strike a vessel with the force of several nuclear weapons. A ship hit by a wave like that would be gone in seconds. And in the era before satellite tracking and modern communication systems, there would be no record of where it happened or why. For aircraft, researchers point to a phenomenon called clear air turbulence, violent atmospheric disturbances that occur with no visible warning signs. No clouds, no storm, nothing a pilot can see or detect with conventional instruments. Just sudden, catastrophic turbulence that can tear an aircraft apart or send it into an uncontrollable dive. And the Bermuda Triangle, sitting at the intersection of warm tropical air from the Caribbean and cooler air from the North Atlantic, creates exactly the atmospheric conditions where clear air turbulence is most likely to develop. Then there is the compass anomaly, the same thing that disturbed Columbus in 1492 and confused Lieutenant Taylor in 1945. The Bermuda Triangle is one of only two places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align, which means compasses in this region can behave in ways that confuse even experienced navigators. In the days before GPS, a pilot or captain relying on a compass in the Bermuda Triangle could find themselves flying or sailing in entirely the wrong direction without realizing it until it was too late. But these scientific explanations, compelling as they are, do not satisfy everyone. Because some of what has been reported in the Bermuda Triangle goes beyond weather and geology and compass anomalies. Some of it suggests something that science has not yet found words for. In 1970, a pilot named Bruce Gernon was flying a small aircraft from the Bahamas to Florida when he encountered something he had never seen before and has never been able to explain. A strange tunnel-shaped cloud appeared directly in his flight path. Against his better judgment, he flew into it. Inside the tunnel, the clouds formed a spinning vortex around his aircraft. His instruments went haywire. Time seemed to distort. And when he emerged from the tunnel on the other side, he found himself over Miami Beach, a destination that should have been 75 miles away and at least 30 minutes of flying time ahead of him. He had covered that distance in what felt like minutes. His fuel consumption confirmed it. He had used far less fuel than the flight should have required. When he landed and checked the time, he discovered that he had arrived in Miami 30 minutes earlier than should have been physically possible. Bruce Gernon called what he experienced electronic fog, a phenomenon he believes involves a distortion of space and time itself. He has spent decades trying to understand it. He has never found a conventional explanation, and Gernon is not alone. Multiple pilots and sailors have reported similar experiences in the Bermuda Triangle: instruments failing simultaneously, time seeming to stretch or compress, compasses spinning wildly, and a strange fog or mist that appears out of nowhere and just as suddenly vanishes. These accounts are consistent enough and come from credible enough sources that they cannot simply be dismissed. Ancient astronaut theorists and researchers who study unexplained phenomena point to something even more extraordinary. Beneath the waters of the Bermuda Triangle, in the shallow seas near the Bahamas, sonar and deep-sea cameras have detected what appear to be massive stone structures on the ocean floor. In 1968, a pilot named J. Manson Valentine discovered what has come to be known as the Bimini Road, a long stretch of large, flat, rectangular limestone blocks arranged in a precise geometric pattern on the seafloor near the island of North Bimini. The blocks are enormous, some weighing several tons, and they are arranged with a regularity and precision that is difficult to explain as a natural formation. Some researchers believe the Bimini Road is the remnant of an ancient road or wall built by a civilization that existed before the sea levels rose at the end of the last ice age, approximately 12,000 years ago. Others go further and suggest it may be evidence of the lost city of Atlantis itself. But even if the Bimini Road is a natural formation as mainstream geologists claim, it does not explain what else has been found on the ocean floor in this region. In the 1970s, oceanographer Dr. Ray Brown claimed to have discovered a large pyramid structure made of a smooth, mirror-like material on the seafloor during a diving expedition near the Bahamas. He said the pyramid was perfectly formed, unlike anything he had ever seen, and that inside it he found a metallic rod suspended from the ceiling above a crystal sphere sitting on a bronze base. He took the crystal with him. He claimed it had strange properties, that when people looked into it, some saw visions, some felt unusual sensations, and some experienced healing of physical ailments. Whether Brown's account is entirely accurate or embellished by time and imagination, it has never been definitively disproven. And the ocean floor beneath the Bermuda Triangle remains largely unexplored. What we do know is this. The Bermuda Triangle has taken hundreds of ships, dozens of aircraft, and over 1,000 lives in the past century alone. In most cases, no wreckage was found. In most cases, no explanation was ever confirmed. The ocean keeps its secrets perfectly, and the disappearances continue. As recently as 2015, a cargo ship called the El Faro sank in the Bermuda Triangle during Hurricane Joaquin. Three crew members died. The ship's voyage data recorder was eventually recovered from the seafloor, but it raised as many questions as it answered. In 2017, a private plane carrying a family of 4 disappeared over the Bahamas. No wreckage, no bodies, no explanation. The Bermuda Triangle is real. The disappearances are real. And despite everything science has proposed, the methane eruptions, the rogue waves, the compass anomalies, the atmospheric disturbances, there is still no single explanation that accounts for all of it. No theory that explains why so many vessels and aircraft have vanished without a trace in this one specific region of the ocean more than anywhere else on Earth. Maybe the answer lies in the methane deposits beneath the seafloor. Maybe it lies in the strange atmospheric conditions where 3 ocean currents meet. Maybe it lies in those stone structures on the ocean floor and whatever civilization built them and whatever technology they left behind. Or maybe the Bermuda Triangle is doing exactly what it has always done, taking what enters it and giving nothing back. Not the ships, not the planes, not the people, and not the answers. The ocean is the least explored place on Earth. We have mapped more of the surface of Mars than we have of our own ocean floor. And somewhere beneath those dark waters, in a triangle of sea between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, something is waiting. Something that has been there for a very long time. Something that the ships and the planes and the men who disappeared were unfortunate enough to find. The Bermuda Triangle does not announce itself. It does not warn you. It simply takes. And it has been taking, quietly and completely, for as long as anyone has been sailing these waters. The only question that remains, and it is the question that has haunted sailors, pilots, scientists, and researchers for centuries, is why.